If you accept any behavior from a woman just to keep the relationship, you're working against yourself. Women test limits, and if you don't know how to recognize certain patterns, you could end up trapped in a relationship where your value is constantly being challenged. In today's video, I'm going to show you the 7 behaviors you should never accept from a woman. And if you've already experienced some of them, it's time to change your approach before it's too late. Stick around until the end to learn how to stand your ground without losing her attraction. Behavior number 1, lack of respect. Respect is the foundation of any relationship. If a woman interrupts you, belittles you, or downplays your achievements, that's a red flag. These signs are often disguised as jokes or sarcastic comments. But trust me, over time, they can undermine your confidence and put you in a weaker position. Imagine you're excitedly sharing news about a promotion at work, and instead of congratulating you, she says, "Wow, finally, huh? It was about time." That's not a compliment. It's a subtle way of putting you down. Small comments like this, when repeated over time, can destroy your self-esteem. If she doesn't respect you when things are going well, imagine how she'll act during tough times. Respect is also reflected in her tone of voice and how she treats you both in private and in public. If she raises her voice, compares you to other men, or makes you feel small around friends, it's a clear sign that something is wrong. A relationship should be a partnership, not a power struggle. So how do you handle this? Simple. Set boundaries from the beginning. If you notice any lack of respect, address it immediately and make it clear that this behavior is unacceptable. If she continues acting the same way, it shows she doesn't value you. A man who respects himself does not tolerate being treated as an option, and women who are truly worth it respect men who know how to stand their ground. Behavior number 2, mind games and manipulation. Some women test men to see how far they can push. They create artificial situations, play emotional games, and use subtle manipulation to keep you constantly trying to prove your worth. This can show up in the form of delayed responses, sudden mood swings, or even threats to walk away just to see how you react. Their goal? Control. Have you ever been in a situation where a woman seemed interested, but the moment you reciprocated, she suddenly became distant? This kind of behavior makes you feel like you need to try even harder to win her over, and that's not a coincidence. It's a psychological trick designed to make you feel insecure and dependent on her approval. Another classic example, she pretends to be disappointed over something insignificant just to make you chase after her. She might say something like, "Wow, I expected more from you," without even explaining why. This kind of attitude triggers guilt, making you try to make it up to her without even knowing what you did wrong. If this becomes a pattern, she'll realize she can manipulate you whenever she wants. The key to avoiding this trap? Don't react emotionally. If a woman starts testing your limits for no reason, don't engage in the game. A high-value man doesn't need to prove anything to anyone. He makes his standards clear, and if she doesn't want to meet them, the choice to stay or leave is hers. And trust me, women have far more respect for a man who knows what he wants and doesn't fall for mind games. Behavior. Number 3, lack of genuine interest. There's nothing more draining than investing time and energy in someone who doesn't put in the same effort. If she rarely initiates conversations, responds with dry messages, or never suggests meeting up, it's a clear sign her interest is minimal. Many men ignore these signs and keep trying, thinking that if they just try hard enough, they'll eventually win her over. But this mindset only leads to frustration. A woman who's truly interested wants to be part of your life. If she only reaches out when she needs something or when she's bored, that means you're just an option, not a priority. Want to know the truth? Do a test. Stop initiating contact and see if she misses you. If the silence drags on, there's your answer. She was never truly invested. Many guys believe they need to be funnier, more attentive, or more successful to capture her attention, but the reality is different. If she genuinely likes you, none of that needs to be forced. She will want to see you, show interest, and build something together. If that's not happening, persisting will only drain your energy and put you in a weaker position. The solution? Simple. Stop investing where there's no return. If she doesn't care about maintaining the connection, move on. A man who knows his worth doesn't waste time trying to convince someone to like him. Focus on people who truly value your presence and make an effort to be part of your life. Behavior number 4. Comparing you to other men. If a woman constantly compares you to other men, whether it's her ex, a coworker, or even a celebrity, know this: she's testing your limits. Deep down, this is a way to make you feel insecure and force you to prove your worth. Men who fall into this trap end up trying harder and harder to please her, not realizing they're losing their own identity in the process. A classic example is when she says things like, "My ex used to take me to amazing dinners," or "That guy has such an incredible career, I find that so attractive." These comments might seem harmless, but their true purpose is to make you feel like you're not enough. This creates a cycle where you try to compensate for that lack just to win her approval. But this game never ends. A high-value man does not tolerate this kind of dynamic. Healthy relationships are built on acceptance and genuine connection, not on a competition to see who meets her expectations better. If a woman truly values you, she doesn't need to compare you to others. She chooses to be with you for who you already are, not for who you could become to please her. So, what's the best way to handle this kind of behavior? Indifference. If a woman keeps making comparisons, simply show her that you don't play that game. A confident man doesn't compete for attention. He knows his value doesn't come from external validation, but from the respect he has for himself. Behavior number 5, lack of support and encouragement. A relationship should be a space where both partners encourage each other to grow. If the woman by your side dismisses your dreams, downplays your achievements, or treats your goals with indifference, that's a major red flag. Being with someone who doesn't support you can drain your energy and even make you question whether it's worth continuing to invest in yourself. Successful men know that their environment directly influences their progress. If she doesn't care about what you're building or never celebrates your victories, what does that say about how she sees you? Sometimes, this lack of support appears subtly, like showing no enthusiasm when you share an accomplishment. Other times, it's more direct, with comments like, "Is it really worth wasting time on that?" This kind of attitude wears down any relationship. Support doesn't mean agreeing with everything, but rather standing by your side in a genuine way. A woman who truly cares may offer criticism, but always with the intent to help you grow, not to discourage you. If you feel like you have to hide your plans or always receive a negative response when talking about your goals, something is wrong. A healthy relationship should build you up, not make you doubt yourself. The best way to handle this is to pay attention to her behavior over time. If you notice a pattern of disinterest or dismissal, don't try to convince her of your worth. Simply step away and surround yourself with people who uplift you. Men who respect themselves don't stay where they aren't valued. Behavior number 6, excessive jealousy and control. If a woman tries to control your every move, decides who you can talk to, or gets upset whenever you take time for yourself, be careful. At first, it may seem like a sign of affection, but over time, it turns into a suffocating cycle. A healthy relationship is built on trust, not constant surveillance. Excessive jealousy can show up in many ways. It could be an overreaction to hearing a female coworker's name, or persistent questioning about where you've been and with whom. Often, the justification comes disguised as something innocent. "I just want to know because I care." But the truth is, it's an attempt to limit your freedom. No man should live as if he's constantly under watch. One of the clearest signs of control is when she creates problems out of nothing and forces you to justify normal situations. If you find yourself avoiding certain topics or even changing your behavior to prevent conflicts, the relationship has already crossed into dangerous territory. A true partner adds to your life. They don't impose rules that restrict your autonomy. Balance comes from mutual trust. If a woman is always trying to surround you with doubt and demands, the best response is to make it clear that you won't. Accept that behavior. A confident man doesn't waste time proving his loyalty to someone who's always looking for reasons to doubt him. Now, before we move on to the next behavior, I have something very important to share. There's a secret to attracting women that only a small percentage of men know, and you could be one of them. Imagine knowing exactly what to say and how to act to spark a desire in her that she can't even explain, but can't resist. This knowledge is now within your reach, and the best part? You don't need to be rich, handsome, or experienced. Thousands of men around the world are using this method to completely transform their love lives. And the most surprising part? It's so simple that you'll wonder why you never knew about it before. Curious to find out what it is and how it works? Don't let this opportunity slip away. Click the link below to watch the video and discover this unique method. It might be the missing piece that helps you turn the game around and finally attract the women you've always wanted. The answer you're looking for is right there. Behavior number 7. Lack of reciprocity relationships are a two-way street. If you're always making an effort to please her, showing interest, and keeping the connection alive, but get little to nothing in return, that's a major imbalance. A woman who only takes without contributing emotionally is leaving you in a one-sided relationship. Over time, this will drain you and create a dynamic where you feel like you always have to do more to earn her attention. Lack of reciprocity shows up in small details. You initiate conversations, plan dates, and show affection, but she rarely does the same. And what happens when you stop trying? The contact simply fades away. This proves that her involvement was never real. You were investing alone. And the reality is simple. If only one person cares, the relationship has no future. Many men convince themselves that if they're just patient, the woman will eventually realize their worth and start showing interest. But the truth is, when someone truly wants to be with you, it shows in their actions, not in empty words. If you have to convince her to care, that means she was never really interested in the first place. The smartest decision is to recognize these signs and cut the cycle before it affects your self-esteem. A high-value man doesn't beg for affection or try to force a connection that doesn't exist. If reciprocity doesn't happen naturally, moving on is the best choice. Your time and energy should be invested where they're genuinely appreciated. And if you want to learn more about how to become the kind of man women truly admire, click the subscribe button and turn on notifications. That way, you won't miss any new content. Now, watch the video on your screen. See you there!